Hello and welcome to this TouchDesigner tutorial. We're going to be making this thing. It's a pops and tops instancing network. This is some methods I've picked up from other creators like Okamirufu and Acrylicode. All of the intro animations were made in this network just by changing different parameters. We're going to start with a point, pop. So in the pops family, just go to point. And then we're going to copy that. So we're going to do a copy pop. And then I'm going to do 5 copies. This is a parameter you can play with along with these as well once you have things set up. I'm going to take the translate parameter and all X, Y, and Z will all go to 1. Then we have this diagonal line here with the dots. Then we're going to put this into a sphere shape. So grab a sphere pop, and we'll just get a solid sphere, but we want to change the type to grid, and then the grid connectivity to point primitives, and then our orientation go to the x-axis. And then rows and columns, these can change and it'll change your look pretty drastically. To start off, I like to do 8 and 5, and then you get a more balanced kind of simple figure here. And then we're going to add some color after this. So we'll do a lookup texture, and then we'll build a ramp over here, a ramp top. And this, I don't know why it's called ramp, but it's, in my head, this is a gradient. You're going to take that ramp top and then drag it into the top parameter on the lookup texture. And then for this is, you can do whatever colors you want really, but I like to put 3 here. And then we're actually going to go circular in the type. In the phase, I'm going to do an abs time, so just open this up. ABS capital TIME dot seconds asterisk or times 0.5, and then this is just going to cycle through in this circle here. And then I like to do mirror on extend left and extend right, makes it a little smoother. On the lookup texture, on output attribute scope, you want to hit that to color, and then you'll see the colors appear and start cycling through. From here, we're going to do a twist pop, and we're actually going to take that same abs time equation we put in the phase, and then copy it and put it in the strength on the twist. And then that'll start moving things around a bit. And that is the last pop we'll do, so we'll cap it with a null. And then we will move to our geometry comp. And then we will start the top instancing network to get this going, really. We're going to make a noise top here. And then some changes you'll make on this. You'll set it the type to simplex 4D. The only difference in this one I had was the exponent went to 0. The monochrome, you want to turn that off too. And then in the transform tab for translate 4D, we're going to do another abs time over here, just that same 0.5, and then things will start moving around. And then last thing for the noise on the common tab, on the bottom here in pixel format, you want to make sure that's 32-bit float or GBA. Alright, and then we're going to attach a math top to this to get the range to go into the negatives, and that's all we'll do. We will go to the range tab, and then on the to range, you want to put -1 right there. And then this can go out to a null. and I'm going to name this null translate, because this will translate the instancing on our geometry. We want to take these three and then copy paste them, and then on this one, the null, we can change it to scale, so that's what it'll be doing. Changes on this one in the noise. On the first tab, your exponent is actually a 10 on this one. Amplitude is 2, and then offset, we'll just go down a little bit to 0.3. This is our top network here. So then in the geometry comp, on the instancing tab, I'm going to click on, and then we're going to drag the translate operator onto the translate operator bar right here. And then X, Y, and Z will be controlled by R, G, and B. And then we're going to do the same thing for the scale operator down here with our scale null from our top network. Let's drag that in, and then same deal. X is R, Y is G, and Z is B. And now you can see we have some activity up here. So to see this, we'll add a render network. I have added this render little thing as a talks component in the description. It's just annoying to me to make this every single time I make a network. So I made that little component that basically just has these things. And yeah, you can just drag that in and then copy paste this out if you don't want to do this. But yeah, you'll do a camera, light, an out, and then once we have this here, I'm going to hit this arrow in the top right corner and hit split left right, and then drag this over. So I want my render to be a little skinnier. So on the render top, I usually do 1 in the alpha spot here on background color, and then we want I'm going to change my resolution to 720 by 1280. And then for this out top, we want to hit the blue dot. And if that shows up on this screen for you, if you right click and go to display right here, you can turn off background tops and that'll get rid of it. In this right window, we want to go on this drop down and then click top viewer, and we'll just see our render here. I'm going to brighten things up, so between the render and the out top, let's put a level top, and then we can bring up the brightness. That's nice, and then see what the contrast looks like. Alright, that's good for now. On the geometry comp, on the second instancing tab, we also want to take this ramp that we used earlier on the lookup texture. So drag that ramp down here into the color operator. I like to change the color mode to multiply. I've just had good results with that. And then on the RGB dials here, we're going to do the same thing and just go RGB on those. I think this just gives it a little more of a dynamic range. Yeah, and then that's the basic network. There are different things you can do. Something I like to do, just to make it more engaging, is do abs time over here on the rotate on the X, Y, and Z. And you can do these at different intervals. I'll do it at 5, 3, and 1. So yeah, this will just make things spin, and it gives you a cool view of everything. Now, like I said in the beginning, this can look very different, based on what you change, and that's, I think, kind of the fun of it. So let's make some changes and see if we can't get something unique. I'm going to take my exponent, bring this back. I don't pretend to know totally what's happening here. I'm still learning this, but yeah, these are the changes that these make. So, alright, so between the render and level, I'm going to throw a bloom top. These ones give it some glow. Sometimes I have trouble getting these to work the way I want to, but just play with these sliders here and see if we get anything cool. Okay, let's bring it up a bit. So I like it to have some like hot spots like that. I think I'm going to change the colors too. So let's make this white. Okay, that's really bright now. Let's make one of these like a purple. And then on this end one, we'll do red. I'm actually going to do this to blue as well. That's pretty cool. I'm going to mess with these noise tops a little bit more. Seems like mainly the amplitude and exponent really get you in different places on this one. So after playing around a bit, I changed these noise parameters. Each noise parameter, I dropped that abs time in the translate 4D to 0.05. So it makes it a lot slower. And then on the noise, I was playing with these three right here to get this result. Bringing that up, changing the offset. Yeah, you get a little more generic looking, spatial thing, but a lot of fun to look at, I think.